Hello, thank you for listening. This is the near death experience of Joon. Open quote. On April 21st, 1976, I made plans with the employees of my new department to celebrate my arrival from Germany after a 17-month apprenticeship of new equipment and service to be implemented at the company in Brazil. The celebration took place in Sao Paulo. After the celebration, I was heading home and giving a ride to two employees and one of their wives in the new VW Beetle I had just bought. It was close to midnight. All of a sudden, a motorcycle and a new VW Brasilia were trying to go across, cutting me off from the right. They were having a street race. I had the right of way. When they hit the right side of the front of my car spun horizontally, diagonally, crossing the very long intersection, and my car hit the curb. I was the driver, and my body flew about 30 meters out of the right side window. When I fell, the right side of my face and shoulder hit the surface of the promenade. Right across from the scene of the accident, there was an emergency center at a private hospital. I had passed out during the accident, but I was breathing and bleeding profusely. Both of my knees had been cut by the metal parts of the car window. My face was disfigured from the injuries and the blood, and there was blood gushing from my right shoulder. My older sister, Gemma, told me what had happened at the Sao Paulo Medical Hospital. The ambulance arrived at the scene of the accident and took me to the nearest hospital. My sister came along, but she was not allowed to enter the hospital. At least half an hour went by. She was outside of the braided wire wall, and since it was taking so long, she spoke to some officers and then came into the hospital. She looked through all of the emergency care rooms, but she was unable to locate me. But in the middle of the hall, where there was an elevator that went down to the morgue, she saw 8 more bodies covered by white cloths on top of some stretchers. These bodies were waiting to go to the morgue for an expert examination. One of them had a lot of blood on the stretcher and a left foot exposed from under the cloth. The middle toes of my feet are raised very differently compared to the normal feet. "That's my brother Joon," yelled my sister to one of the officers. A medical team arrived to examine me and found that I was alive, but I had a very weak pulse. The nurse in charge said that he had thought that I was dead because all of the blood on the stretcher. I was immediately taken to another hospital located at the other end of Paulista Avenue. The police called for an ambulance, and my sister and I were escorted by a police siren. 3 days in a coma or with memory loss. When I arrived at the other hospital, I was immediately operated on after several attempts at taking x-rays. The on-duty physician discovered in the x-ray a shape of a crucifix right in the middle of my spine. It was the crucifix pendant that my sister had given me as a gift. The 3 x-rays were taken because it was really deep inside and it would require minor surgery to remove it. The doctor removed it and handed it to my sister. Very impressed, he said, "This cross saved your brother's life." I was in a coma at that time, however, I was seeing something strange. In another world. I was looking at 2 of me. One me was face down in front of a long wall, and the other me was at the scene of the accident. However, I was looking at the scene of the accident from above my car. 2 people with their hands up clinging to a wall, and an employee sitting with one knee leaning on the ground and supporting one arm on the other knee. He seemed to be in a lot of pain. My other body was in front of a new wall. lying face down, trying to lift its neck to get a glimpse of a very interesting scene. My body was totally uninjured, and I saw some flowers on the edge of the wall which I had never seen before. I was able to see through the wall into a house. A young mother was in the kitchen, and a boy and a girl were talking. Let's play with ice cream like when we were on Earth. Yes, let's do it. What would you like? The girl says, I want vanilla and chocolate. How about you? The boy replies, strawberries and cream for me. What surprised me was that the ice cream instantly appeared in each of their hands. I thought to myself, oh, it's like that here. Just think about what you want and you can have anything. How cool! I was awestruck. Their mother was smiling as she made some tasty smelling food. All of a sudden, somebody yelled, I watched over him all the time. I just don't know how this accident could have happened. It's the truth, sir. I watched over him. From the somewhat hoarse voice, I realized that it was the voice of my guardian angel. That's just what I figured. He was behind the wall with someone who might have been his boss. Maybe he's an archangel, I thought to myself. All of a sudden, this supposed boss of my guardian angel came through the wall and appeared before me. I was lying face down, motionless, and I strained my neck to look up. He was tall and dressed in a white cassock that would change color, light blue, soft brown, etc. I enjoyed painting pictures, and I unintentionally yelled out, Aha! That means that white is the mother of all colors. That's it. I've figured it out. I tried to get a look at his face, but all I saw was a white plaque covering his face. He opened his right hand and pointed his index finger and lifted me up. His index finger looked like a wooden pole. And with his other hand pointing to the scene of the accident, he said, It's not your time to come here. Go back there and help a lot of people and then come back. His voice came to me as if it were in surround sound, coming from all over. I had this big eye which saw all of these scenes from another world and this world where I had had the accident. I woke up when someone called to me, Look, this is my daughter, Christina. She just turned 1 year old. When I came back into the world, my memory became very clear, and I recognized my older brother from Campinas. Later on, Gemma told me that during these 3 days, which I did not remember having been in a coma, I was interacting normally with my colleagues from Siemens, and I was teaching the work to my employees quite naturally. This happened 44 years ago, and I can see it clearly as if it was still the year the accident happened. End quote. So interesting. The guardian angel, maybe, and the boss of the guardian angel. So the levels of hierarchy in heaven, and the archangel saying, I don't know what happened. I was watching over him. That was pretty cool. And the boss, again, although we see him here, his face is not seen. It's covered. So he's once again sort of incognito behind the scenes. Very interesting part. Let me see if there are any questions here. Question, did you feel separated from your body? Answer, yes. We would have to separate the part during the experience from the part after, because during the experience, it was really clear what was happening. However, after the experience, everything went back to normal, and lately, I've been getting the feeling that I can talk to my dogs telepathically. I clearly left my body and existed outside it. How did your highest level of consciousness and alertness during the experience compare to everyday life? Answer, more consciousness and alertness than normal. There were 3 of me. One from the world of the accident, another one in a different world, and the big eye that was looking at my two bodies. Question, did you seem to enter some other unearthly world? Answer, a clearly mystical or unearthly realm. As I mentioned earlier, it seemed to me that I was in a heavenly world with homes belonging to residents of the land that made things happen through their thoughts. Question, what emotions did you feel during the experience? Answer, I just felt that I needed to obey all the instructions and I didn't question it. I wasn't able to remember what it was that needed to be done. Another part of my body, a big eye from a higher dimension, was observing me to check my behavior in the other world. Question, what was your religion prior to your experience? Answer, my family was Christian, although I did not attend church. However, ever since I was a child, I had a habit of talking to God. And after this experience, I absolutely believe in God, and I talk to Him. As for participating in Mass or to practicing worship, I attend any church that might be near me at the time, Catholic or Protestant. Question, have your religious practices changed since your experience? Answer, actually, my religious beliefs have disappeared and I only believe in God and angels. Question, what is your religion now? Answer, I've come to respect all religions with my one God. I do not, however, attend church and I only pray at meal times. Question, did you encounter a mystical being or presence or hear an unidentifiable voice? Answer, the one that interacted with me seemed to be an archangel. I only heard the voice of my guardian angel, it seemed. Question, during your experience, did you gain information about the existence of God? Answer, yes, I am sure that the archangel that interacted with me must have been a superior, which would be God. I realize that there are sets of rules different than those on earth. Question, during your experience, did you gain information about universal connection or oneness? Answer, yes. According to what I saw, a mother and two children in a beautiful house, things can be brought about through thoughts. And we might have a little bit of a translation issue here. I think this is a Brazilian NDE. During your experience, did you gain information about an afterlife? Answer, an afterlife definitely exists. According to what I saw, a family in the other world after their life on earth. There are places for those that are chosen, and the chosen tend to use their thoughts to accomplish things. Question, how accurately do you remember the experience? Answer, I remember the experience more accurately than other life events. I've been recounting this for over 40 years, and the accuracy and detail have not changed. Question, what do you believe about the reality of your experience? Experience was definitely real. When you receive a mission through an experience, the mission will be accomplished only if you believe. I received a mission to carry out in my earthly life. Am I supposed to question it? End quote. End questions. And another great story. Thank you for listening.